Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Josephine Clark. I am a senior in high school and a CF warrior. This past decade, there have been historical advances in care for CF, including modulators, better treatment options, and more research done than ever before. Even though there's been so much growth, CF is not a black and white scale. CF has so many ups and downs. CF is often described in clinical terms: thick mucus, lung infections, digestive issues, daily treatments, and medications. But beyond those symptoms is a life shaped by constant uncertainty, fatigue, and a daily grind that can quietly wear you down. CF is not just a physical illness. It is a full body, full mind experience. And yet, the mental and emotional side of CF often gets pushed into the background because it's harder to see, harder to measure, and sometimes harder to admit. I was diagnosed with CF at 10 days old. When I was young, CF shaped my life in more ways than I can remember. I knew my life was different from everyone else's, but thankfully I was still able to be a kid, just with multiple hospital stays in between. When I was young, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks at least every year from 4 to 10 years old. Oddly enough, my old hospital memories are the most prominent memories of my life, both traumatic and happy ones. Every memory is engraved in my brain whether I want it to be or not. I've gone through multiple therapists, EMDR therapy, to hopefully mitigate those memories. Everything from blood draws, PICC lines, IVs, the amazing helpers that would play games with me, and the horrible news that we would receive. They are all imprinted in my brain. As I got older, the physical toll of CF became heavier, as did the emotional one. When you're a teenager, life is already confusing and overwhelming. Add in the reality of a chronic illness, and it can feel like you're drowning, and not just in mucus. There were days when the anxiety hit me like a wave, worrying about getting sick, missing school, or falling behind in life. There were nights when I couldn't sleep because I was scared of the future, scared of hospital stays, scared of dying too young. And yet, I didn't talk about it. Why? Because I didn't want to continue to focus on the bad in life. Because I didn't want to be seen as weak. Because I thought, other people have it worse. Just be grateful and push through. That's one of the most dangerous lies that we tell ourselves, that our pain doesn't count unless it's the worst pain, which I know all of us in this room have told ourselves before. Studies show that people with CF are 2 to 3 times more likely to experience depression and anxiety than the general population, and it's not hard to see why. Imagine waking up every day, knowing your lungs are working at a fraction of what they should. Imagine structuring your entire day around treatments, medications, and energy conservation. Imagine constantly walking the line between I'm okay and I need help, and not knowing when it's okay to cross it. Imagine being at volleyball practice and coughing your lungs out because you have a common cold and barely being able to breathe. Imagine people staying away from you because you cough so much. Imagine having to explain CF to new friends and boyfriends that have no idea what it is. For a long time, I thought mental health struggles were a sign of weakness. But eventually, I learned the truth. Acknowledging your mental health is a sign of strength. It means you're willing to fight on every front, not just the physical one. During my sophomore year of high school, I reached a turning point. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis-related diabetes. This diagnosis absolutely crushed me. Thanks to the new modulators I had been on, I had fallen into the CF routine. It was no longer a burden, it was just life. This new diagnosis absolutely crushed me. What had become my routine was shattered, and I was now stuck having to navigate diabetes while desperately wanting to be a normal teenager. Now I had to start giving myself shots every night on top of tracking blood sugars and watching what I eat. I can't get through a volleyball game without having to check my sugar and my parents sprinting to find any type of sugar. When all I want is to be a normal kid who can get through a whole game without feeling dizzy or wanting to fall down. That's when I asked for help. I started talking to a therapist. At first, it felt awkward, like I didn't know how to feel about feeling. But over time, therapy became a safe space, a place where I could be honest about how exhausted I was, how angry, how scared, how tired I was at pretending I was okay, and how traumatized I was from past experiences. I also connected with others who had CF, people who understood without explanation. That connection was healing in a way I didn't expect, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can hear is me too. Let me be clear, this isn't a happily ever after story. CF doesn't go away. The mental health struggles don't vanish, but what's changed is how I deal with them. I've learned to be more compassionate with myself, to rest without guilt, to speak up when I'm struggling, to understand that strength isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about showing up day after day in the face of it all. And most importantly, I've learned that hope is not denial. It's choosing to see the light even when the darkness feels overwhelming. Hope is rooted in truth, and the truth is, I may have CF, but CF does not have me. That's my insulin alarm going off. Okay. To the families and friends of people with CF, please check in. Not just about physical health, but about mental and emotional health too. Ask the deeper questions and be patient with the answers. To the healthcare community, treat the whole person. Include mental health as part of CF care. Make it standard, not supplemental. And to anyone out there facing your own chronic illness or any invisible battle, know this: your fight matters. There is strength in vulnerability. There is power in asking for help. And there's always, always room for hope. So yes, cystic fibrosis is a brutal disease, but it's also a teacher. It taught me how to fight, how to feel, how to survive. But perhaps most importantly, it's taught me how to live. Not just exist, but truly live with gratitude, with truth, and with the courage to face each day as it comes. This is just the beginning for me. The Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, through the generosity of donors like you, has provided the vital research funding that has led to a development of new modulators and other therapies that have literally changed my life. The health and strength I now have to live my life to the fullest is a direct result of the research funded by donors like you. When I was a baby, the doctors told my parents I would be lucky enough to live to graduate high school. I stand here today proud to say that I am not only alive, I'm committed to play an athletic scholarship to play college volleyball next year. Unfortunately, not everyone has the same opportunities I do. Some CF patients can't get modulators that have changed my life for the better. Most CF patients are encouraged or willing to reach out and get the help that they need for their mental health. That is why I'm up here today to speak to you. There are still children and adults fighting for their lives because of this horrible disease. A cure to CF would mean that children, adults, and unborn babies will be able to live long, happy, and fulfilling lives. The only way we can get closer to a cure is by receiving donations from people like you. It's easy to see and hear me tell my story and think we've won. But while I stand here before you today, there are countless others who have lost their fight to this terrible disease. There are parents in this room whose children would have been near my age today, but CF took them. I don't know why it's me standing here tonight instead of all those other warriors, but I owe it to them to keep begging and pleading for the donations that will lead to more success stories like mine and less heartbreak for others. We need a cure, and for that, we need you to get a cure for all CF patients. A cure means life, happiness, families, and freedom, which is what all CF patients deserve. So please, help me and other CF patients who are struggling to keep afloat by donating your money for a cure.